The Vincow murder was the only Night Stalker crime scene where the prosecutor presented fingerprint evidence, allegedly from Richard Ramirez. But that doesn't mean there wasn't reasonable doubt. First of all, the defense had a third-party suspect, Jennie Vincow's son, Jack. Jack Vincow was the prime suspect until the case was connected to the Night Stalker in September 1985. The Vincow family was originally from Bensonhurst in Brooklyn, New York. Jennie relocated to Los Angeles in 1981 after her other son Manny had been abusive towards her. He had mental health problems and was institutionalized. In the 1960s, Jack himself had been hospitalized after a mental breakdown. This should have been probed further. Jack lived above Jennie in this apartment building. She lived on the lower floor in apartment 2. He visited his mother every day and last saw her between 1 and 2 p.m. on the day before her murder. He found his mother's body in her bed 24 hours later. She had been slashed across the neck and stabbed multiple times in the abdomen. The killer had been either directly in front of her or above her during the stabbing. The media presented Jack as his mother's carer, checking on her daily and buying groceries. Philip Carlo's book said that he was bringing her McDonald's chicken nuggets when he found the body. During cross-examination at the preliminary hearing, LAPD Detective Castillo revealed that Jennie lived in squalor. Her house was dirty, and the refrigerator and kitchen table were full of rotting soup cans. The fingerprint technician also described the apartment as dirty. Jack may have bought his mother food, but he allowed her to live in filth and mold. Detective Castillo revealed that Jack was evasive, refused to answer questions, and walked out of an interview. He refused to take a polygraph test, claiming the stress from his mother's murder would render the result inconclusive. A polygraph would not be admissible in court, but it shows Jack was uncooperative with the detectives who were trying to solve his mother's murder. Castillo put Jack under surveillance, but could never gather enough evidence to charge him with murder. A huge problem with the investigation is that police didn't realize that Jack lived above Jennie and his house was not checked right away. If he had killed her, this gave him a chance to dispose of evidence. Manny Vincow had been detained in a mental hospital due to psychiatric disturbances. Jack never contacted him to tell him their mother was dead. He fearfully considered that Manny had come to LA and killed her. He claimed to have no idea where Manny was or whether he was free. Someone apparently reported seeing Jack in the apartment on the morning of the murder. Jack's explanation for this was that it must have been Manny because the brothers looked very alike. Unfortunately for Jack, Manny was ensconced in a hospital in Brooklyn. At least on paper. Look at this hearing transcript from Detective Jesse Castillo. Castillo couldn't locate Manny, so he was unable to be photographed or fingerprinted for the investigation. He interviewed relatives, but didn't say whether they confirmed that the brothers closely resembled each other. At trial, Halpin asserted that Manny's presence in the hospital eliminated him as a suspect. So that left Jack. The person who thought she saw Jack in Jennie's home on the morning of the murder was apartment manager Wanda Doss. In the preliminary hearing, she was mentioned briefly, but we don't hear the statements she made, and the defense didn't bring her to court. It is unknown why they didn't subpoena such a key witness. Wanda Doss was raised again at trial in 1989. Philip Carlo covered the exchange in his book. It transpired that Doss had seen someone who looked like Jack having breakfast in the apartment, and he was worried it would make him seem guilty. Prosecutor Philip Halpin appeared desperate to object to any mention of Doss. And with only a vague reference to her statement, Judge Tynan had no choice but to sustain Halpin's objection as hearsay. Everything the defense tried was procedurally barred. The timing of Wanda Doss's sighting is crucial and will be covered in Part 2.